Ryan McFarling in the house. How are you, Ryan?
I'm very good, thank you.
Good morning. Welcome to On TV.
Thank you for having me.
This is your first time here in the studio with us.
First time. Yeah,
Not our first time together, though.
No, we've been...
You and I have tag teamed a lot of shows. You've been my opening act. I've been your opening act.
We've just shown up for other people, like the whole bit. Yeah, just kind of hanging around.
We've also worked together in restaurants in the past.
Yeah, bartended way back.
Known you for a long time. And as long as I've known you, you have been doing magic.
Yeah, since I was probably 6 or 7 years old. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
You were just like a little Ryan McFarling.
Yeah, I was just a smaller, same little bit of irritating when I'm doing that, but the same. It's all good.
Yeah. Tell me what spurred it for you? What made you go, oh, I want to try to do that? Something you saw? What?
It was a kind of a combination of that. It was like the Paul Daniels magic show was something that was always fascinating to me when I was a kid. The more...
Where did you see that show, Paul Daniels Magic Show?
It was on, I think it was BBC. It was...
Oh, you know what? That guy that I had on the earlier...
Oh, John Pert.
Yeah, him.
Yeah, John Pert.
Thanks for paying attention to my guests, Ryan. John Pert also like that same guy. He watched that BBC guy too.
Yeah, and John's very good. John is very good.
Did you know him? Were you familiar with him?
I was vaguely familiar, and after I saw your segment with him, I went and I checked out a lot of his stuff, and it's he's very good.
Cool.
He's very good.
I'm glad that you approve of my guests. So you watched the guy from BBC, and then what?
Well, it was an interesting thing because I always found something fascinating about that, but I mean, as a kid, you don't think of it that way. You just think of it was something that was interesting to you because it was magic. But I also have an older brother who encouraged me to do these type of things, mainly because he's 4 years older than me, and at 6 years old and he's 10, you want to hang out with your older brother, but he doesn't want to hang out with you, right? So what he did instead was he would keep me occupied by just hand me a book and learn this or do this or whatever.
To get you out of his hair?
Pretty much.
To make you disappear.
Yeah.
He wanted you to learn magic so you would disappear.
There you go. And so what we ended up doing was he handed me I think it was Magic Tricks and Techniques or a book, something like that, and he said, why don't you learn this and it'll give you like essentially something to do, right? So he's involved but not involved, and he was doing it like any 10-year-old would understand, and just said, here, we'll kind of toss this thing at me. And I started picking it up and I was interested and I started learning these different things. So when I finally picked up enough of the different tricks and I walked back to him, I said, hey, Matt, what do you think of this? And he stopped, and all of a sudden he started calling his friends over to watch it and saying, see what my brother can do. That was something that was totally different.
That must have felt so cool for you as a 6-year, like as a kid, impressing your big brother that you looked up to.
Oh, absolutely. I mean,
and all of his buddies that you wanted to hang around with now thought you were cool because you could do these things.
Yeah, I still didn't get to hang out with them, but at least I had to show them some tricks, right? It was a lot of fun doing those type of. I guess at that time you need that little bit of encouragement where it can sound. I mean, it wasn't nearly as it wasn't mean or mean-spirited or anything. It was kids being kids, right? So we were just horsing around and say, well, I want to hang out with you. Well, he has all of his friends, doesn't necessarily want to do that. And I'm looking back on it now, it's actually, that was probably the best thing that ever happened because he at least found a positive way to keep me occupied, which is something that I fell in love with afterwards.
Right.
And I've been doing it ever since.
Since. Do you know how old you were when you first did your first actual show for not family, for like real people?
Yeah. I would think I was, the first big one was, I think I was 19 years old.
Oh, wow. Is that long you were practicing your art?
Oh, yeah. I mean, from a performance perspective, I was always doing like the small little backyard things and messing around that way. But the first one where I kind of had that initial, like, I'm starting to make it kind of thing was I was in university and I was bartending. And I was just messing around with a deck of cards behind the bar, and an entertainer came in. And he was a hypnotist, and as he was getting ready for his show, he was watching me mess around with some cards, and then by the end of 15 or 20 minutes, he said he had never seen anybody that could move cards like that because he's around entertainers all the time.
Wow. And
from that perspective, he looked at it and then he just said, what would you think about actually going out and opening for me and doing some gigs? And I thought that would be great.
See how it happens?
And it was literally just sitting around at Algoma University and bartending to that and just kind of keeping it in the back of my mind because I was always interested in it anyway. So, and then from that point forward, I was with Metropolis Management, and they just kind of took me around, and I got
You
to
got
see,
an agent, like a management team.
pretty much, yeah. And
So cool.
And it was the beauty of being able to travel with the management team, which was the best, because they taught me about show business, which was a big thing.
Wow.
Yeah.
And now you're at the point where you are developing shows. Now you've performed other shows. The Placebo Effect is your current show.
Yes.
But you've done other full, like how long was your average show? 45 minutes, an hour? Depends, I guess, what they want to book you for, right?
Yeah, typically if it was for a function, it would be 45 minutes to an hour.
Okay.
The Placebo Effect, when I ran it 4 or 5 years ago, was it was 2 45-minute segments with an intermission. So
Okay.
I tried to do the full evening of Illusion, which was, as you know, it's a lot of work getting into that type of thing.
So this has been where we are now with the Placebo Effect. Has it been morphing itself over the last 4 years, changing shape? And,
Every day.
And the script changes and the approach changes?
Yeah, in the field, like,
Because you're trying different things, right?
yeah, trying to get a different feel and different, or maintaining a feel but different approach, so that when the audience comes back, they get to see something new every night.
And isn't that the great thing about a fringe festival? Because it's a lot of this stuff is works in progress.
Yes.
And audiences are going expecting to see either things that are, still not fully formed yet. But your show is pretty much, this is a done deal, right?
It is the
This
only...
isn't really a work in progress other than the fact that you tweak it now and then.
Right, and this one is more of a, I'm working on a lot of new material that we can actually keep things fresh and new, and I'm trying some new things. So even the audience that saw the show before is going to get to see a lot of new material.
And so when we come back from break, we're going to talk a little bit about how the show has changed over the years, because you've sort of shifted from calling yourself sort of a magician illusionist to now getting into this mentalist thing, which is such a cool angle. So we'll come back with more Ryan McFarling talking about his fringe show right after this quick break. We'll be back with Mornings with Luann and Tim right after this. So when we come back, we'll get back. So Ryan, the Placebo Effect is an example of how you've taken your magic.
Yeah.
What do you call it? How do you refer to what you do?
In essence, the magic is always there. I know when we talk about it, I get that question a lot. Well, it's magic, but is it magic or is it tricks? Is it this? Is it... The magic is that feeling that you get when, and it's unique to that genre of entertainment, that you, that kind of moment where everything changes for just a second and you say, everything I knew to be true, that doesn't make sense, so how did that happen? That momentary excitement is unique to magic and illusion. So keeping that is, it goes hand in hand with the idea of, magicians never telling their secrets and that type of thing. I like to say it a bit different, where magicians essentially guard an empty safe, right? Because that's the magic.
I like that.
And I didn't come up with that, but that was that through all my studies.
Well, whoever did was very clever.
Yeah, well, I'm sure they were. Magicians guarding an empty safe, because that magic and illusion, it's, if you know exactly how it's done, for example, because I get that question a lot where people will say, I want to know how the trick is done, but at the same time, I don't want to ask you. Mm-hmm. And that thing that pulls you back, that says, I don't want to ask you, is it's essentially yourself protecting the magic. Mm-hmm. Because the moment you know how I did it, or the moment you know how something works, per se, you can never experience it the same way ever again.
Right.
Because then it's something else. Then it's
because
juggling.
The magic is gone.
Because the magic's gone. You let it out.
The magic is gone.
Right? So that's why...
Hang on to the magic, people. Hang on to the magic.
Well, that's exactly...
Now, now the mentalist aspect of it, this is, I find, very interesting, because this is more about psychology.
Yes.
So, and you've been doing a lot of studying now about how people's brains work, how we're sort of wired, how we're hardwired, and what responses are normal, or that you know what I mean?
Yeah, predictable, normal.
You've been working with that kind of stuff.
Yes.
And that makes it so, I remember watching Kreskin on, did you ever watch him?
I've studied a lot of his stuff.
Holy smokes, when I was a kid, I would come home from school and watch Kreskin's show, and was blown away. And he was like wore the dark horn rim glasses and stuff, and he was always reading the audience's minds and stuff. I was just blown away by that, and that's very much sort of what you're doing now. How you're using the audience's minds and what they think, and incorporating that into the show, right?
Yes. The idea with the mentalism side was when I was looking at all the different styles of magic and illusion and what I like to perform and what I found myself continually gravitating towards. It wasn't prop-based magic tricks. It wasn't the big glittery boxes and all of that. They're great for specific types of shows, but it's not the type of show that fits my personality. Yeah. So what I liked to do instead was I liked boiling down what it was that I loved about why I was performing magic. So things like the reaction when you see somebody's eyes light up, or they really have no idea how you did something. I didn't want that to be based on a prop that I was holding in my hand that nobody could look at, or you had to put it away as soon as you were done because nobody was allowed to look at it. That part always bothered me. I loved the look of being able to just talk to somebody and just through wordplay, for example, just have something and then they just go, wow, and it blows them away.
That's always been one of your strengths too, is the close-up stuff, dealing really one-on-one with people.
Yeah.
I've seen you work on trains, I've seen you work restaurants, I've seen you work rooms where you just wander around one-on-one to small groups of people, and they're always enthralled. Can you enthrall me right now, Ryan? I love my job because I get free magic twice in 1 week.
So this is something. It's a work in progress. So I made some notes for myself. Aren't we all? So with these, of course, all the cards are different on one side. They're the same on the other.
Yes.
That's the easy bit. So Tim, I'm going to have you take any card you like. Your choice.
I can just grab one?
Yep.
Do I take it right out, Ryan?
Yeah, take it out. Show everybody at home. Show.
Okay.
The whole staff
Don't
here.
look, Ryan.
I've seen the trick before, but it's okay.
I've seen the trick. Aren't you funny? I've seen the trick before. Okay, I know my card.
Okay, so if I can see the card here, so if we're going to use this one here, and just having that one go into the middle of the deck, that's the easy part. So here's the actual magic part.
Okay.
What? That's not it. That's misdirection, Tim. See, what's happening is this.
What?
See, that's not it, but maybe it's, well.
What's that? What's that say?
This one, look in your pocket.
Whose pocket?
Maybe, no, that's.
My pocket?
You should probably take a look.
There's nothing in my pocket, Ryan.
No? Oh, that must have been look in my pocket. See, because what if, well, wouldn't that be amazing?
If that were,
well,
look on the table. What's going on? But that was the card that says look in your pocket.
Well, take a look, because what if we...
Look in my hand. Wait a minute, things are changing wait a minute, Ryan, look in my hand. Where am I looking?
See,
You're freaking me out.
That must make sense then, because, well, that's why this one would be here.
You did not just do that! You're the devil!
I get that a lot too, actually.
God, I'm like goosebumps all over me. Those cards changed in front of my very eyes. I don't want to go away in 1 minute. I want to stay longer with my friend Ryan McFarling and make him do more magic. Can you do something else?
Sure. See, why don't we do this here? I'm going to get a couple of. Why don't we do this?
Okay, do whatever you want.
Take anything you like. See, Tim, take any one.
Again? I want that one.
Here, we'll get rid of this one here because that'll be
three of
distracting.
diamonds. Yeah.
Yeah. So show everybody else that one. Will.
Oh, this is a good card. You're never going to be able to do any magic with this because it's already okay. What?
Okay. So here, I'll take this one now.
Okay.
Now this is where, if you wouldn't mind, hold out your left hand for me.
That's this one.
Right. So
that's this one.
I'm going to see what
you said left, and then you said right. Which one do you want?
Correct.
Left.
Right.
Right. What?
Correct.
Left.
Sure. Okay. So we're going to do this.
Who's on first? What?
I'm going to say that's not the trick.
Okay.
So that was juggling.
Okay.
See, the trick is with the jack of clubs. Here, go ahead and put your other hand right on top, just like this. So next step is if I use the queen of hearts.
Luann's here. He's a freak, Luann.
If I use the queen of hearts, here's the best part. With this one, if you keep an eye on it, because your card, well, if we just take one thing like this, it actually jumps back over here.
No! 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 No!
Go ahead and turn your...
No! No! It was in my hand! Nothing changed! I don't understand! I love you, Ryan McFarling! When is your show?
Let's see here. Well, I'm performing for the Fringe Festival, and it's going to be at the Windsor Park.
That's where I'm performing too.
Correct. So we are taking over that venue for 6 days.
You, me, and Mr. Dewey, not from Facts of Life, from Saved by the Bell. I gotta go.
Yes. So we have Friday, 7 p.m.
Yes.
Saturday, 5:30.
Yes.
Sunday, 7 p.m.
Good.
at the Windsor Park.
Yes.
And tickets are $12.
Yes.
And it's a very intimate venue, so there's about 80 seats,
Okay.
and you're going to be no more than 8 rows back.
Beautiful. If you need more information, go to the website, Fringe North International Theater Festival, and check out. You got to see Ryan McFarling in action. You just saw it here. It's magic. It's beautiful. I love you, and we'll see you tomorrow night.
Absolutely.
Okay, we got to get Luann back on to say goodbye.
All right.
We'll be back in just a moment. Stay with us. Mornings with Luann and Tim coming up next.